What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel, Dowies here, where we bring you the hottest, most in-depth, no-fluff Dallas Cowboys news every single week. If you're a diehard fan or just someone who bleeds blue and silver like I do, buckle up because we've got a massive massive update that's going to shake the foundation of this defense. The Cowboys are officially in damage control mode today after a crushing blow to the secondary. And it couldn't have come at a worse time. One of our biggest defensive stars, like a guy that fans and analysts alike were hyping up as a cornerstone piece for this season, is now out. Yes, you heard that right. Darren Bland, the breakout cornerback who was set to be a key figure in the Cowboys' defensive strategy, has gone down with a foot injury. And early signs are that it's not just minor. This could mean weeks on the sideline, potentially more, depending on how recovery goes. The timing of this is just brutal. Bland had been playing lights out and was stepping into a larger role after proving last season that he could be not only reliable, but explosive. His pick six ability, his awareness in coverage, and his agility made him a rising star in the NFL, and Cowboys fans had every reason to be excited about him becoming a household name this year. And to make things more painful, this happens just as the team was trying to settle into a new defensive identity post Micah Parsons. And we'll talk about that too, because that trade is still sending ripples across the league. But now with Bland sidelined, the Cowboys are scrambling to figure out what's next. How do you replace that kind of production and presence in the secondary? It's not as simple as next man up when the next man is that far from the level of play we were getting from Bland. And the bigger question, do the Cowboys even have the depth in the defensive backfield to absorb this kind of loss? That's a huge concern heading into this next stretch of games, especially with some high-powered passing offenses on the schedule. Losing Bland means not just a drop in talent, but a disruption in chemistry. He was part of a unit that had been working together all offseason, learning schemes, building trust, communicating. When one of those pieces drops out, especially one as crucial as a CB1 or CB2, depending on alignment, it shakes up the entire structure. You've got safeties now having to pick up slack, maybe linebackers having to adjust their zones, and certainly younger corners being pushed into situations they may not be ready for. And this is where we start to feel the aftermath of the Micah Parsons trade. Now look, I know that trade was controversial. Some fans said it was time to move on, that we couldn't afford to lock him in long-term with the money he wanted. Others, right, and I count myself in this camp, were shocked that Dallas would let a generational talent walk out the door, even if the trade package was pretty solid. But regardless of which side you're on, the reality now is that Micah's not walking back through that door, and the Cowboys are without their top pass rusher and one of the most dynamic defenders in the league. That's pressure. That's quarterback hits. That's sack potential. All of it gone. So now, with Bland injured and Parsons out of the picture, Dallas finds itself dangerously thin on defensive playmakers. This isn't about one guy missing time. This is about a defense that, at the start of the offseason, looked like it might become elite, now having to patch holes just to stay competitive. Which brings us to today's breaking news. The Cowboys are officially looking at free agency. Yes, Jerry and the front office are back in the market, and the name that keeps popping up is none other than Jadeveon Clowney. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking. Clowney? Isn't he past his prime? Didn't he have a down year or two recently? And you'd be right. He's not the same guy who came out of the college looking like a future Hall of Famer, but don't sleep on what he can still bring to the table. He's still a physical specimen, still strong off the edge, and most importantly, he's experienced. That matters when you're dealing with a team trying to find stability in the front seven. Clowney doesn't have to be the superstar. He just needs to be consistent. He can eat up blocks, set the edge against the run, and give you rotational pressure. And for a team like Dallas, that's huge right now. There's no Micah to bail them out anymore. They need someone who can at least create chaos up front. But it's not just Clowney. The Cowboys are reportedly doing their homework on several other veterans, especially in the cornerback market. Names like Mike Hilton, a versatile slot CB, have been floated. Maybe not a long-term fix, but someone who can come in, understand a system quickly, and hold their own while Bland heals, and that's the key, bridging the gap. Survive these next few games, don't let the season slip while you're banged up. The NFC East isn't getting easier, the Eagles are loaded, the Giants are looking to bounce back, even Washington has improved. Every game matters, and every weakness gets exploited. So if you're the Cowboys, you can't afford to sit still. Free agency isn't always about landing stars, or it's about patching the boat before it sinks. You also have to think about the message this sends to the locker room. When a front office acts with urgency, signing veterans, bringing in competition, showing the team they still believe in the season, it lifts morale. The worst thing would be to stand pat and hope it all works out. These guys need to see that management is fighting alongside them, not just asking them to do more with less. Now, let's zoom out a bit and talk about the big picture. The Cowboys' defense was supposed to be the strength of this team. The offense is still figuring things out. New pieces, new play caller, some inconsistency. So the defense was supposed to carry them early. That was the plan. A top-tier D that could dominate, create turnovers, flip field position. Without Bland and Parsons, can they still do that? Can they be the kind of unit that wins games in December when it's cold, when the playoffs are on the line? Yeah, that's the challenge now. And let's be real, this isn't just about this season. The Cowboys have major decisions coming up, contracts, cap space, coaching questions. What kind of team are they building? Is this a team trying to contend now, or are they quietly resetting, using trades and smart signings to prepare for a bigger run in a year or two? That's the tension behind every move right now. If they go hard in free agency, bring in vets like Clowney, maybe another corner, then they believe this team can win this year. But if they stay quiet, rely only on young depth, maybe this is more of a rebuild than we were told. Either way, Cowboys Nation deserves clarity and honestly deserves results. The fans have waited long enough. We've seen too many almost seasons, too many injuries derail promising starts. This year needs to be different, and that means responding immediately to adversity. Not weeks later, not after losses pile up, right now, before the hole gets too deep. Personally, I think the front office knows that. I think they've seen what losing Bland means. I think Clowney signs, and I wouldn't be shocked if another move is in the works, maybe a trade for a veteran DB or a mid-tier linebacker to shore up depth. If they do that, they keep the season alive, but if they sit on their hands, it's going to be a long road. So to wrap it all up, Darren Bland is out. The Cowboys defense, already missing Micah Parsons, is now scrambling. Free agency is heating up with Jadeveon Clowney possibly on the way. The secondary needs help, the locker room needs reassurance, and Cowboys fans, we need to see fire. We need to see urgency, because this is a season that still has potential. There's still talent, there's still time, but only if the Cowboys move fast and move smart. That's it for today's video. If you got value out of this breakdown, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Are you in favor of signing Clowney? Who else should the Cowboys bring in? And how worried are you about the state of this defense? Let me know. And as always, stay loud, stay loyal, and never stop believing. Cowboys Nation, we ride near you, no matter what. Let's go.